Hey everyone, it's Perez. Joining me live online is Justin Bieber's manager, Scooter Braun. Many would say he is the person responsible for turning this little Canadian kid into this huge superstar. And I think it's only appropriate that we're chatting virtually on the internet because it's thanks to the internet that Justin Bieber got his start and Scooter found him online. Is that accurate? Did you find Justin online? How did you discover Justin Bieber?
I it was online. He probably had about I don't know, 4 to 6 videos up at the time, and he had just sang locally in a singing contest, and I was consulting actually for Akon on another act, helping him write up a marketing plan, and that act happened to be singing Aretha Franklin "Respect," and in related videos. There was another shot, and I thought it was the same kid, but a farther away shot. When I clicked on it, I saw a young 12-year-old kid, and my gut went absolutely crazy. And I basically spent the next 48 hours tracking him and his mom down, put them on their first flight ever, and to come see me, and completely hit it off, and fell in love with the both of them, and you know, kind of we developed this plan, and this, but we spent a good year working it online and building it up, and thanks to the incredible fans and how it all went viral. Um, about 50 million hits later, we started bringing it around to labels, and then, had the fortune of having two incredible artists with Usher and Timberlake, both interested in Justin, and just felt like the right decision was, at the time, the right decision for multiple reasons was to include Usher as an EP on the album, make him partners with myself and Justin, and introduce Justin to the world. But it really, I can tell you, we'll get into the whole story, but no one believed except these fans, the kids watching now. And Justin and these kids make me look smarter than I am every single day. So I think Justin is the complete opposite of a corporate, manufactured pop thing. And every reporter that gets to join us on the road finds that out. And sometimes they're shocked, but it's been 3 years in the making, and these kids really did it all.
And I find it interesting that you chose to wait instead of going straight to a record label when you first discovered him. You wanted to post more videos and maybe develop him a little bit further. Why did you go that approach?
Well, you about 4 or 5 months before I discovered Justin, I discovered this other artist named Asher Roth, who was just this kid in a dorm room rapping. And I was a little bit ahead in that project as far as how I was going to break him. And I broke Asher through blogs and through the internet as well after discovering him on MySpace. And when I discovered Justin, I saw a video I think the biggest one was like 70,000 views. And my gut was just going crazy. And my philosophy was, if I was as intrigued as I was, then why shouldn't millions of other people? So we started developing just more content for them. And I'm a firm believer, and we've had this discussion between us many times, that music is the universal language. The feeling the music gives you hasn't changed in 200 years or longer than that. The same thing goes for self-discovery of music. For my parents, it was vinyl. For me, it was a cassette tape. Some people, it's a magazine. I feel like the internet brings all of that together. Kids would rather discover something on the internet on their own than hear it given to them on the radio. And there's a sense of ownership when you find it yourself. And I felt like the kids with Justin, that was how we were going to break him. So, he wasn't just a 99-cent single you buy on iTunes. He was more than that. He was something that they believed in, and they knew that they were a part of it. And you come to the shows. We just started our concert 2 days ago, and the reception has absolutely been amazing. And, I see these kids crying, and I'll talk to them afterwards, and they feel like they're on that stage with them, and they deserve to feel that because, they're the ones who, when no radio gave a damn, when every label said no to us because without a Nickelodeon show or a Disney show, we couldn't break Justin. These kids are the ones who who beat that. I mean, we took on the big corporate machine armed with the passion of teenagers, and they've done what Justin is today. I mean, I'm proud to say we've gone #1 with this album in 17 countries, and most artists take a year and a half, 2 years to break each region. And because of the internet making the world a smaller place, not only has Justin broken these places, but now the entire music industry is changing their thought process and how they do things because of that.
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many thoughts swirling in my head, Scooter. First of all, I read recently that he's even broken and gone #1 in a lot of countries he's never even visited yet. Like, I think some South American countries. And that's
I mean,
because of the internet and the way people are consuming it there. And, Justin Bieber really has moved the dial, moved the needle in that even my own thinking. I remember a year ago, before any Bieber mania, I was really personally I think against the concept of EPs.
yeah,
But
you
now I
conversation.
think I'm into it and I really like it and I want another EP or album from Justin Bieber really quick. Actually, let's try to get some scoop. I'm sure fans want to know when will there be more original material released? Is there any plan yet in place?
Well, I mean, we just released. There's gonna be a lot more visuals coming out. We just released the album in March. We had a go go away.
What's going on?
Okay,
I'm going back in the pool.
all right. He's the star. Now they're all excited. That is officially us being pranked by Justin Bieber. Um,
So
so,
more visuals coming.
well, there's a visual right there.
There with it.
But
Absolutely.
we have a lot more visuals. I mean, credit to you. So the kids know the "Somebody to Love" record, the demo for it, and Justin, rewrote a couple things, but the demo, the basis for it, was actually given to me by you. You hit me up on iChat and told me, I have this record, you need to hear this concept, it's incredible. Not only did you give us the record, but then you told me, Scooter, please make sure this video is dance. And the "Somebody to Love" video, which is now exploding, and it was like the #1 most watched video in the world for the last week. It's dance focused, and a lot of people said, "Oh, why isn't another relationship story? Why isn't this?" And I felt like it was another transition in his career, so I'll credit you for that. But I think I guess the scoop is we're gonna do more soundtrack songs. You just saw the one from Karate Kid that Jaden Smith. Congratulations to him and his father. Huge movie, and another credit to the fans. They expect that movie to do 25 to 30 million. It did 57 million first week.
I was very surprised.
And a lot of people are crediting that to the Twitter campaign.
Okay. All right, so we're back. So you were going to tell us about the
Okay. So we're gonna be doing more cameos, different things. We're figuring out if it's another EP by Christmas. I mean, I don't like speaking bad about any act, and you know that about me. But one of the things I want to be careful about doing is rushing. For example, another huge act was Hanson with that Mbop song and that album that did incredibly well. But I think honestly, one of the big mistakes they made is that right after that they rushed out a Christmas album, and kind of it wasn't something the fans were asking for. The fans were still on that album, and they were still excited about the touring. And because of the touring, they weren't able to properly promote it, and it gave the sense that they weren't as big as they actually really were. And I don't want to go down that road with Justin. I'm very careful about my philosophy because it's no longer about just selling CDs. It's about building a brand and an entertainment brand. Funny enough, I just said this to you earlier. The person who did it best was Michael Jackson, and today is the anniversary of his death. So it's funny we're having this conversation, but I guess the next step is figuring out that multimedia brand and what the kids want. And we know a lot of these kids really want a movie from Justin, and we don't want to just give them the classic music movie. We want to give them a real movie where he's acting and prepared. So that's one of the things we're really looking into, which is getting Justin into that film world and giving the kids an experience at the cinemas with him.
That's exciting. So it wouldn't be like a live concert, or you can do that as well, like a 3D concert.
We're absolutely talking about doing that as well. A live concert, experience for the kids who unfortunately, around the world who weren't able to make it to this tour. But we are coming on our world tour. We'll be going out next year. We're going to Europe and South America and all these, Asia, all these places, Australia, all these places we haven't been yet to actually show the My World Tour, which just started. But I think, other than that, we really want to define him like Will Smith, who was a rapper, but Will never depended on his rap career to make him an actor. He became an actor separate from his rap career. And I think that's important that, you know, if you do something, you got to do it well in that category. You can't rely on one thing to another. I think that's why a lot of musicians, they rely too much on their music career for film or acting or, you know, reality show, whatever it is. And the brands have to sustain themselves separately. And no one did it better than Michael Jackson.
Now, I'm a fan. Okay, I'm just gonna go there. I am a fan of the Jonas Brothers, but
Yeah.
as an analyst of pop culture and everything that's going on, I would say that the Jonas Brothers have peaked. Even according to reports, ticket sales for their new tour aren't very strong or in comparison to before. You know, is a tale like the Jonas Brothers, where they were on top, this teen phenomenon, a cautionary tale for you or something that you learn from, or are you taking steps to avoid something similar happening with Justin?
I mean, look, first and foremost, I've gotten to meet those guys. And you have too.
Yeah, I think
Those
they're
are
great.
they're not only great, they're the nicest human beings I've ever met in my entire life. Not just them, but their dad. I mean, they're incredibly kind, good-hearted people, and very, very talented. You know, Nick is a very, very talented writer, producer. And a really good kid too. So I have nothing bad to say about them. And Nick has been really, really good to Justin, is kind of like a big brother type to him. I think looking at their career, it's different. They're part of a different system. We're a Universal artist. They're signed to Disney, so there's certain things they have to do with Disney. They sign to Disney, and they have to do that TV show, and they have to do it on the Disney Channel the way Disney wants them to do it. You know, and there's certain things they can define on their own, but it's a completely different type of game. So the main thing I look at, it's not really the Jonas Brothers as a cautionary tale, because I think they're perfectly fine. I think whether they peaked or not, that we'll know in the next couple of years. But I think it's too early to say that. And they've had an incredible career thus far, and I'm sure they'll continue to have it, because their fan base is, you know, extremely strong. It's like when people said Britney was done, you know, but people don't realize how strong these fan bases are. So they're far from done. What I like to look at is the acts from 20, 30 years ago that were these huge, huge teen acts, and they didn't translate to adult acts. Those are the ones I like to look at and show Justin, because you want to see what they did wrong and why Justin doesn't know their name. Justin knows Timberlake's name. He knows Usher's name. You know, he knows Michael Jackson's name. These are Stevie Wonder, people who start off as kids and translated. There's only so much you can learn from success. You can learn a lot more from failure. So what I like to do is show them all that. And what we tend to see is that the talent is always there. It's actually the personal lives of these people that destroy their careers. That they might be a talented actor or actress or singer or entertainer, but they can't keep, honestly, their shit together in their personal life, and their head gets too big and too swollen, and they forget that without the fans, you're absolutely nothing.
And
So that's something we constantly show Justin and repeat to him. And we really feel that if we can help him become a good man, he's going to become a good adult artist.
and his mom's on the road with him a lot, right?
Yep, Patty's here. I mean, she, you know, I love that lady. She trusted me with her boy, and you know, it's like I said, I've grown to love them. Like Justin he's family to me. I have his back. If he couldn't sing another note the rest of his life, I got him.
And he's
So,
also very, very connected to his fans. Like, he's very active on Twitter, so he's taking the right steps. You know, in addition to me asking you questions, because we could talk a lot, and I will ask you more of my own questions, I do want to take some questions from people watching right now. I haven't been doing this that many times, but we already have over 4,000 viewers right now, which is pretty rad for like a live internet thing. So 4,000 of you watching, hello. Let's see here. I'm in pieces, fix me, says Perez and Scooter. Why does the world assume all Justin Bieber fans are teens? I'm 21 and a proud believer.
So you want me to answer it?
Well, I think that wasn't necessarily a question. That was more of like a statement, but you can answer that, sure.
I'll answer for it. I think, you know, because Justin's 16, a lot of the kids his age really relate to him. However, you cannot become as big as he's becoming without having fans of all ages. My grandmother and her friends in Boca Raton, Florida, where all Jewish grandmothers go. They are huge Justin Bieber fans. And I think the reason is, there's only one Michael Jackson. There will always only be one Michael Jackson. But a lot of the things that I do when managing Justin's career, I look to the man who set the bar for every great entertainer, and that's him. And everybody knows that, hands down. Michael, I feel, is the last one to sing with that young, great young soulful voice and sing love songs that not only kids could relate to, but 21, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, because it reminds you of the time when love wasn't jaded, when you actually believed in it. Because as adults, a lot of us, have gone through that heartbreak stuff, and we say, well, screw love. That isn't real. Real life is real. And I think Justin's songs remind us of that time, and that's what young Michael did for us. So I think, yes, I think there's a lot of teenagers there, and he's relatable because it's finally someone their age. But that 21-year-old believer, there's a lot of you, and there's a lot of, people much older than you who are fans. And I think it's because at the end of the day, good music's good music.
Yeah, and what's really exciting is, in just at 1 year or less, he's growing and maturing and getting better and better and better. And I'm more excited and more excited to see what Justin does next.
Well, I'm excited. You haven't seen the My World tour. I could tell you, I was crapping in my pants, scared the first night because we didn't have enough rehearsal time. Justin does not get nervous. He doesn't get scared. He looked at me before that show and goes, "I am petrified," and he was really, really scared. And Usher actually flew in to surprise him and support him, which was incredible that day. It was a really special night for us, and I'm really, really excited for you to see this show, because you told me to make sure the production is right and make sure it's big. And people who are seeing it are walking away extremely satisfied because, he really put together a great show. And he is, I had a guy come to me last night and say that let me turn this up. 1 second here.
It's okay.
I had a guy come to me and say that head of Universal Music Publishing, this guy Evan Lamberg, and he was at the show last night, and he said, "I swear to you, it seems to me like this kid's on his third tour leg." And there's kinks we got to get out, but you said you want to see what's next. Cannot wait for you to see this show.
Well, I will definitely be there. Mid-July, Los Angeles.
Yep.
Bieber Twizzlers says, "OMG, OMG, bring the chat to the pool to see Justin."
Hey, kids got to have some private time.
The kids got to have some private time. He already had a cameo, so
Yeah.
you're going to have to go back and watch this again later.
This is Perez's time, not Justin's.
Yes, and now, I remember one of the first big looks that Justin had was on the MTV Video Music Awards, less than a year ago.
His first single One Time came out, we just realized 13 months ago.
So how, because when Justin was a presenter on the Video Music Awards, I would say the majority of mainstream audiences had no idea who he was.
Correct.
How are you able to pull that off? Like, what did you do? Or was that you campaigning to MTV, or was that MTV reaching out to you?
MTV reached out to us because we shut down their server.
Really?
That's what was going on. Justin was shutting down radio servers and MTV servers all over the place because the fans were so active and still are, and he talks directly to them. So what they were seeing was this incredible response online, and they wanted to be a part of it. And I'll never forget that day because it was so surreal. One time was really starting to get play and blow up. And I remember us walking the red carpet going into the show, and Green Day saw Justin, and they turned around and they saw us and they walked by. They stopped, they came back, and the guy stopped the security and goes, "Hey, hold on. And Justin goes, "Hey, Justin, man, I love that song One Time." And Justin goes, "Was that Green Day?" Because at the end of the day, he's 16. He's a fan of all these people he's meeting. He gets so giddy and so excited. But
no! Oh, I lost him again.
and to walk.
Oh wait,
out.
we're back. I had lost you for a second. I was like, we're still going. Good.
Okay. Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good. I'm all fixing my hair and stuff.
Did you miss the Green Day story?
I missed the what story? No, I got the Green Day story. We got that.
Okay. Well, it was, he came out after the Taylor thing, and Here's the first time he's ever in an award show. First time he's in front of millions of people, and he's supposed to stay on script. But Taylor has always been really good to him, and she was one of the first people to identify him. And he walked out, and he goes, before we do anything, I just want to say I feel Taylor Swift really deserved that award, and we should give it up to her.
I
And
love that too, especially because for his big first thing.
yeah, I mean, people 16 years old coming out there on that stage and then going off script to say that. I mean, that's a testament to, I mean, the kid has integrity, and I was in that proud kind of dad moment in that moment.
Now, like everything in success, there comes copycats, and everybody now wants to sign the next Justin Bieber and release the next Justin Bieber and be the next Justin Bieber, and we've already started to see a few of those acts on the marketplace. What are your thoughts on all these Justin wannabes?
All right, I think first and foremost, I think that the music industry does that, whenever there's a big boy band, there's 100 different boy bands. However, I think I'm honored, and I think Justin should be too, because at the end of the day, it means that we're doing something right. And some of them aren't wannabes. Some of them are really talented kids who deserve a shot. I think the biggest thing the music industry is doing right now, where they're making a mistake, is a lot of the people in the industry are fighting amongst each other, trying to compete, well, mine is better than yours, and this and that and the other. If we think a kid's talented, Justin will put his arm around them, because the only way the music industry is going to survive what it's going through right now is by making sure more of us win. Lady Gaga needs to win. Taylor Swift needs to win. Justin needs to win. This kid Grayson Chance, I wish him the best. I hope he wins. This kid Cody Simpson, who's another young kid, I hope he wins. Like, unless all these acts that are getting signed start to win and start to sell records, and we support each other, we're going to be crabs in a bucket pulling each other down, and that isn't going to help the industry whatsoever. We have to think bigger than the music industry and realize that we're all on the same team. So, I look at it as, we'd be thinking very small and thinking in a very, just negative energy isn't worth it. So I wish everyone the best, and I hope we all win together.
Awesome. All right, Lucas Allen wants to know, Scooter, what would you recommend for kids trying to get into the music business?
Now, so are they asking we don't know because we can't reach back out to Lucas. But,
I'm assuming that it's somebody who wants to be a musician or a singer as well.
well, I mean, if you're a singer or a musician, I mean, honestly, a lot of success, and Perez, this, is hard work, and a lot of it is luck. Being in the right place at the right time, and then what you do with it when that happens. So you just got to believe that opportunity is going to come. If I hadn't stumbled upon Justin that day, who knows? And that was luck for both of us. And I think that you got to post the stuff online if you can. See the reaction you're going to get. Let the fans take criticism well, because it's just people trying to help you. If you're not listening to anyone, trust your gut, but listen to what people are trying to tell you. So, go out and do live shows, work on your craft, make yourself better, believe in yourself, and eventually, someone's going to come your way. Now, that person might be a shady, bad person. So if that happens, what you have to do is really, listen to your family, listen to your friends, make the right decision. And if someone really believes in you, you don't necessarily need to sign that contract to prove it to them. You could say, why don't we do a handshake and feel things out? And that's what I did with Justin in the beginning. I let them see that I didn't have anything to hide. And I think that's the best way. Now, if he's asking, how do you do it as a business person? There's 100 different ways. You can try and get an internship. You can do it the way, Perez, you and I have both done it, which is just start our own businesses and work really, really hard until people have to pay attention to us.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing in anything entrepreneurial, whether it be being a singer or being a business person, is absolutely believe in yourself, trust your gut, and go for it, because you have nothing to lose. And the cool thing about being a kid and going for it is you don't have kids yet, you don't really have a lot of bills yet, and you don't have a lot of that stress. So go for it.
Now, even with everything going in your favor, you had the association with Usher, you had the MTV Awards, and the crazy fan base. At the beginning, it wasn't easy. Even with all of those things, at the beginning, I remember that a lot of radio stations and a lot of programmers didn't want to play Justin's music. So how are you able to, eventually overcome that?
I mean, honestly, we haven't completely overcome it yet. We've never. Justin's had a number one album 5 weeks, but he's never had a number one single, and that's why this "Somebody to Love" record. It hits iTunes on Tuesday, and it's the first record where we built a radio first before we put the song on iTunes. So, I think we need something like 300,000 or 400,000 copies to be sold starting next Tuesday for the week to get a number one single. So that's something we're really hoping for. So fans, please help.
Don't put that out there. That's like you don't need it to go number one the first week. But
No,
it'd
no,
be
no.
nice.
I say that actually, we do, because here's why I say that. A lot of people with radio, they aren't studying the Justin Bieber trends like we are. So, they're looking at it their way, and radio's been incredibly supportive, doing free shows for every radio station out there. I mean, we go to every radio station you can imagine.
AV Kitten wants to know, Scooter, what's it like working with Justin, and what's the funniest thing he has done?
Working with Justin is someone else would get that. Well, AV Kitten. Working with Justin is one of the biggest pleasures in my life. I mean, he is the most normal 16-year-old kid you've ever met. He has this amazing ability of being that star on that stage and then getting off and asking if we can go bowling. And he is constantly laughing, having a good time. I think there's, sometimes he goes through a tough patch because there's a tremendous amount of pressure. Other 16-year-olds can make a mistake, get a slap in the wrist, and learn from it and move on. But the whole world is waiting for him to screw up. So I think that's really tough on him at times. One of the funniest things he's ever done is before he became Justin Bieber, the big artist, we were still doing the development stuff, and he stole my phone without me noticing and called Akon on my phone. And Akon answered. He called *67. Akon answered it, and he said, "Dad, I love you. Why don't you ever call me? I got your number out of Mom's phone." This, that, and basically tended to be Akon's illegitimate child that Akon never knew about, and he wanted his dad to be aware that he exists. And then he said, Mommy's coming, I gotta go. And he hung up and freaked Akon out. Akon really thought he had a kid out there that he didn't know about. And about a week later, we saw him, we told him, and he said he'd been freaking out for the entire week trying to figure out how to get back in touch with the kid. And it was a very, very, very funny prank. But he does that stuff all the time. I have 100 stories like that.
That's amazing. Yeah, and I was listening to that one interview where Perez was saying how Bieber was pranking her too.
Oh yeah, he's. If you give that kid your number, you're in trouble. He will prank you. He will mess with you. His favorite thing in the world. We're nervous. This is his first tour, and he's already trying to figure out how to get people on the buses, and it's his. Nothing makes him happier than laughing with his friends and getting somebody.
Up in a little bit. Maybe we'll take questions for like another 5 minutes. So a few more questions,
and then we should talk about the stuff me and you talked about building a brand more than a single.
Okay, well, we'll talk about that too. And we'll give the fans this one question, and we'll talk about that. But the fans want Cheyenne Shoddy wants to know, does Justin have bad habits?
Yes, absolutely.
What are they?
The pressure that comes with being a singer and entertainer and having 85 shows in 6 months is you have to keep your voice. And Justin's voice is actually stronger than it's ever been. But no, to sing that many shows, you can't scream. You got to do a lot, and and you get just a little party dude. He wants to stay up all night playing video games and talking to girls and whatever he can do. And and when he's having fun, he'll start yelling and screaming and trying to scare people and all kinds of stuff. And it's fun and games. And for a normal 16-year-old, I would say no problem. That habit's fine. But unfortunately for him, he can't do it. So we find constantly telling Justin, shut up.
So this Justin, you've also mentioned, oh wow, we've got over 6,000 viewers now. Hello everyone.
And they understand. Justin, the My World album not only was to separate them, but was established to just ownership also, and not ownership because My World took that hit and kind of built that story. And I learned that from him, and I also learned a lot about how radio works and the politics of it, and what you need to do. So you know, all those things I learned for Justin's project, and then the things I learned with Justin's project, I'm going to apply to the next one. And I think that's just anything in life. As you continue to learn and grow, you get better, and you can apply it moving forward.
And you're only 28 years old.
Yeah.
You're super young. I'm way older than, not way older, but I'm older than you. So it's really exciting to see everything that you've been able to do in such a short amount of time. I mean, really, it's just crazy. It really is so. It doesn't happen that often. Like, Gaga and Bieber are. I think Gaga, Bieber, and okay, I'm thinking out loud. Gaga, Bieber, Rihanna, and Taylor Swift are pretty much the only four acts to really be huge and reach this kind of level this last decade. So, like, that's rare.
Well, good. I mean, Kanye was in the last
Well,
decade.
Kanye, yeah, Kanye. Is he
Thing with a
dating
girl.
like celebrity girls or normal girls or both?
I think a little bit of both. I don't know if it's big celebrity girls or anything like that, but I think he likes girls. He doesn't judge them, whether they have a TV show or an album or they're just a fan. I think he just likes to, if he meets a girl and he's into her, he asks them out on a date. I've seen him do that a couple times, for a long time now, where he'll be talking to a girl and then the next day he'll say, "Hey, can you drop me off at this place?" And I'll say, "Well, what do you mean drop you off? What are you doing?" He says, "Well, I have a date tonight." And I said, "When?" He goes, "I got that girl's number yesterday." And I mean, like I said, he's girl crazy. He's a normal teenage boy. So.
Well, good, and congratulations to him.